serving up a dose of wisdom and humor with a dash of radiance. Welcome to Biscuits and Sunshine with your hosts, Callie and Landra.
Hey y'all, pull up a seat at our table for the next serving of Biscuits and Sunshine. I'm Callie.
And I'm Landra. We're delighted you're here with us. We're recording this from Distance Sport Audio Studios in Athens, Greece. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 4, Tessera, Bame, let's go. On today's episode, we'll be talking about all things Greece. Callie and I are going on our 4th year of living here and thought it would be fun to reflect on and talk about the experience of moving to Greece. Can you believe it's been 4 years, Callie?
I was just thinking that. Unreal. Like, unreal.
So I'm thinking about those listeners maybe that are like newer to our podcast. What is it that brought you here?
I like to tell people that growing up in the U.S. as a Greek American, when I was younger, I always felt very Greek. Maybe in the South, when you're a little bit different, it's like a lot different. So I felt like I identified so strongly with being Greek that I knew down deep in my soul, one day, someday, I would live in Greece.
And that someday happened 4 years ago.
In 2021, during a global pandemic. Which was not exactly how I expected it to happen, but it did. The conditions presented themselves. I was in the right place at the right time, and it happened.
And did you just decide in that moment, like, I'm doing it? Or had there been thoughts about this in the past that led you to make this decision?
All of my friends will tell you, for about 10 years, I talked about moving to Greece. And so much so that when I called them to say, hey, I'm actually moving, they were like, yeah, we've heard this before.
Oh, they're like, oh, she's actually doing it. Yay, girl.
Yeah, it was a big deal. It was time.
I love that. Similarly, moving to Europe and choosing Greece, same. When I told friends, they're like, of course you are. This is so you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I ended up marrying a Greek American, and this was 2017. And then we toured around Europe. He's a musician, so we did that. And I, just loving traveling and living outside the US, was like, oh my God, we're married now. I could do things on your passport. Like, why are we not moving to Europe? So 4 years ago, is it what you thought? Was it easy to make that move? Was there anything that, like, I don't know, what you thought it was and what it really was?
In terms of making the move, it was easy. Anyone who knows me knows that I am a sort of very spiritual, faithful person. Once I decided to actually commit to making the move, God knocked down all the obstacles that usually stood in my way. What am I going to do for work? What am I going to do for health insurance? How am I going to support myself? Where am I going to live? I don't know anyone. The answers to all of these questions, or not questions, but reasons for concern, they were non-existent. I had a solution to every single obstacle, and I know that it wasn't my doing. I committed in my mind to making this happen, and I operate under the premise that once you commit to something, and once you take the first step in purposeful growth, the path unfolds. Doesn't mean it's easy. Doesn't mean that there won't be challenges, but I do think when you take that first step, things start to unfold for you. What about you? Did it meet your expectations in moving here?
It did. I mean, I knew there was going to be a lot that I was going to have to adjust to and know, because it's one thing to travel here on vacation, and it's a whole nother thing to live here every day. For me, the thing that I was surprised the most was how much I became a lot more vulnerable, meaning that I was intimidated by the language. In our neighborhood, I'm not in a touristy area, so kept dragging my husband, like, oh, come with me to the shop. I need you to translate. And what's really funny is he was like, you can do this. Everybody speaks English, which not everybody does, but a large majority of people do. And he was like, I'm going to teach you this phrase that you're going to say that tells people that I don't speak Greek. Do you speak English? And so literally I'd walk into places and say, Yasu, then mila elenika, milate aglika.
Perfect.
Yes, I had to be perfect because then people would say, oh, yes. And they'd switch to English, or I'd get a ohi, which means no. And then I'd go on to the next person. Yasu, then mila alanika, melate aglika.
I think we all rely on this phrase at some point.
Oh my goodness. But a lot comes across, right? In your way of being versus like what you're saying. But of course, I think people appreciated that, hey, she's trying to tell us something in Greek that she doesn't get it. But, she does ask if we will speak English in a kind way. And so that was really helpful. But no, I came here on my own, figuring out how to get my permanent residency. So that was just a wild goose chase in itself, having to figure out and navigate Greek websites that don't easily always translate to English, relying on family members here that were super helpful. Thank you, Dino and Joanna. And then on the flip side, my husband does speak Greek, but just because he speaks a language, he hasn't lived here in many years, doesn't mean he knows how things work, how to set up a life, how to change over a bill to your electricity bill. I mean, all the things, right? So many times when we'd hit like a wall of frustration, I was like, okay, we need to come back to our core values. What is it that's going to get us through this transition? And it was things like humor. If something was new and it didn't make sense, we didn't know, instead of meeting it with judgment, going, well, this is new. Getting curious, kind of expanding our sense of openness. Didn't mean we agreed with it and always like really still understood it after it was explained to us. And then also patience, because, things take time. If we thought we were frustrated by the DMV in America, come to Greece and do anything bureaucratic. It's not a little bit, it's a lot more kind of time and patience for things to unfold and actually come to resolution.
I remember when I was just starting to work here, you need a set of numbers. In the US, your social security number sort of is the thing you need for applications and bank accounts and all that. In Greece, you have a different number for everything. You have a tax number, you have a healthcare number, you have a pension number, you have all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And for most people, you get your tax number pretty easily. I got mine by hiring an accountant who did all of the paperwork and the application and everything for me. But in order to open a bank account and work legally, I also had to have the healthcare number. Now, for most people, when you get an AMKA, AMKA is the healthcare number, it also generates for you like the number that you need to pay into the pension, because then you're eligible for public healthcare. I start working, I get a prescription, I go to the pharmacy. She says, "You don't have a number?" I say, "Yes, I do." She says, "No, you don't." I say, "But yes, I do." She says, "No, you don't." And this prescription ends up costing me like a couple $100, where it would have been like
Wow.
€7. So then I call my accountant back. "Oh, for some reason, when you got your AMKA, you didn't get an FKA," which is the pension. Anyway, all of these numbers have all different names. Going to another website to register, it's all in Greek. Going to the office, them saying, "No, you have an AMKA. You should have an FKA." I don't have an FKA. I have an AMKA and an AFME, but not an FKA. Just like word soup, basically. And everyone telling me, "Oh, no, you do have this." And me saying, "No, I know I don't. Like, I
And
need to fix this."
back and forth, going
Back and forth.
online, going to the office, going back to the office. And yeah,
Calling the number and saying, "I'm so sorry, I don't speak Greek this well. Can you speak English?" No, signomi. Δεν μπορώ να μιλάω Anglica. "Okay, you don't speak English. Okay, say it slow. I will try to understand." Calling back to make sure I understood the appointment time and what I need. It was very frustrating to me. Because when things operate simply, people understand, easy to navigate. But the moment something wrong or something different happens, wow, that definitely throws a spanner in the works.
yeah. And I think you and I both operate from a place of efficiency, like move fast. And that is a little bit rub against kind of the way we're usually used to working. So it's like siga, siga, a little slow, wait, patience, all of that.
Yeah. But, I think the things that we gain
Oh, yeah.
in living here far outweigh the things that frustrate us.
100% agree. The proximity to the sea,
The food,
the summer,
finding you as a friend.
That's true. Finding our community of people that we're not alone. And, you and I used to joke a lot about this, how we want to almost gamify it. And I think that's what got us through a little bit. We're like, oh, you went to this office? You must have got a badge. Oh, this happened to you? Another badge. It's like the first time. And then once you're through it, as we've grown our community and met new expats that have come in, we're like, oh, yeah, if this happens, this is what you do. And it's kind of like invaluable to have other people that have been through that experience before you.
I was just thinking as you were talking earlier, I've actually never had to put bills in my name. When I do that, I'm going to have to be like, hey, is there anything I need to know?
Yeah.
What kind of problems could I run into? Because you guys have done that and I haven't.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's wild.
It is wild. You touched on this a little bit in the beginning, coming to Greece and not speaking Greek. I wouldn't say that when I moved, my Greek was fluent, and it has gotten significantly better since moving here. But that, to me, is like the definition of courage and bravery.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. You have a lot of my respect just for that.
Oh, yeah. I've met a lot of people that are even older that have carved out lives here and had children and had said, you don't need to learn Greek. And I was like, what? Because I'm somebody that really wants to connect and understand a little bit more. And I just can't even imagine living somewhere and not giving it your full try. It has been a challenge, though. I, definitely went to school a few times. Before I went to school, I was so proud of myself. I learned the alphabet, how to speak it, how to write it, uppercase and lowercase, different. It's a whole different alphabet, if you don't know, than the English, Latin-based languages. And and then having gone to the Laiki, which I think we've talked about before, the farmer's market, learning my numbers, not how to exchange money, but how to pay for something, listening to what somebody says, giving them the right amount of money, getting my change back. That in itself was like a whole level of schooling. But yeah, I can say now that I am basic conversation. I could say over and over again the things of where I live, where I'm from, what do I do, how long I've been here. And, the same situations over and over again, getting a taxi, ordering your coffee, getting food, asking a basic question about the menu. Done. Got it. I feel so proud when my friends come over and they're like, wow, look at you. I'm like, yeah, look at me. But you ask me a few other questions on either side of that or a whole nother topic. I'm like, oh, I understand, I think, but I can't speak back to you. So I've hit this inflection point. I'm legit A2. So there's the whole language A, B, C, 1 and 2. So now the pressure's on. I need to start speaking more. I need to practice conjugating my verbs. I have these moments where I go in and I go out. So right now I'm a little bit of take a little bit of a break so I can get that stamina and I'll be ready to go back in. And you joined me. I recruited you to come to language school because you said you wanted to kind of up your skills.
You did. You did. We did one class together and then we have done classes at the same time. And so we can sort of commiserate with each other on when we have tests and when we have homework due and what we're learning and how it doesn't make sense sometimes.
I mean, it's wild because again, from the English speaking perspective, friends, those of you out there, when you see the lowercase or even capital H, that's actually the letter I. A V is actually an N is actually an I. I mean, it just is wild.
Yeah, until you get to the capitals and then an N is an N.
Yes.
I always now get my P's and my R's confused because an R in Greek is a Latin E. And so I get confused about, wait, I'm reading Latin. Is this a P? Is it a real P or is it an RP? It's just it's like a little soup in my brain sometimes.
Yeah.
Yesterday, my friend Andreas came to help me pack up some of my house. And we were running errands and doing things. And Andreas is a native Greek speaker. At one point during the day, he looked at me and said, I love watching you speak Greek because every time you start, your face is so full of excitement. And I know that you really want to do it, but inevitably you hit a point and it's frustration takes over. I think that's a perfect way to describe my experience speaking Greek.
Yeah, at the beginning, I remember we go to stores together and you'd have conversations going. I'm like, look at you. And I was like, okay, what did the woman say? What was the answer? And you were like, I had no idea.
I've just gotten really good at looking like I know what you're saying. For the most part, I get all of the context of what people are saying, but I just don't get the detail because I'm stringing together every third word or every second word, but I'm not getting every single word. So it is a little bit of guessing, and I feel like I've gotten pretty good at that.
Recently, I went to go visit a friend in Barcelona, and I was so excited because, I speak Spanish, and I'm like, ooh, I could use my Spanish. Oh my God. I have never encountered, I can't technically say I'm trilingual, but in the space of knowing a little bit of 3 languages, I was shocked at how my brain, I'm in a Spanish country. Great, let's use the Spanish. Oh no, all that's coming to me is Greek. And then when I was able to speak Spanish, I had to slow down and really think about it, which is really comical because when I lived in Argentina, my host family would say, oh my gosh, you speak so fast in Spanish. It wasn't all perfect, but they understood. And, I was like, verb conjugation was off here or there, but, I just kept rolling with it. And to be able to speak it at such a slow pace, it felt like a little bit of that patting your head and rubbing your belly, kind of disjointed. But literally the plane was getting ready to land into Spain. And I was like, oh my God, how do I count to 20? I was trying to remember my numbers, but like every day here now in Greece, I've just been like, listening. It's like second nature. It's so funny between saying yes in Greek is ne, saying ne instead of si. I was like, what is going on in my mind? It was comical and frustrating, and I just had to roll with it.
You do. You just have to go with it because you can't really fix it in that moment.
Oh my gosh. Wild, wild. So living in Greece, so what would you say have been like, I guess like when you think about it, like what's been different from your US life? What has Greece afforded you?
Greece has afforded me incredible work-life balance because I've been able to create a lifestyle that I have more control over. I'm not filling my free time with a bunch of activities, and my work, for the most part, stays within work hours. I feel like I'm really able to slow down and enjoy life more here. What about you?
I would say I really feel this connection and alignment with the seasons more than ever. And it's because I came from San Francisco, which has this weird microclimate where it feels like summer in the winter and winter in the summer. Here, you really feel it. We've spoken before about our first winter here, and it legit had snow. Winters since have all just been really cold, but I could feel it. Actually, this week, as I was walking in my neighborhood, we have a lot of orange trees. The orange blossom smell is in the air. And it's just like, ooh, something sensorial just really takes over me. It just really like gets me to soften a little bit and just feel like so good inside. And then like the farmer's market, the seasonality of the food, it's just the seasonal connection. I'm really loving that. It's afforded me time to notice and align with it. Okay, quick lightning round of questions I have for you.
Okay.
Top 3 things in Greece you cannot live without.
Fritto espresso. Kalamakia, like meat on a stick, which is a weird thing to pick, but I love it. Island travel. Visiting islands.
Good one. Good one.
You.
Fritto espresso. Time in or near the Aegean Sea, for sure. And I had to say the Lake, which is a farmer's market.
Oh, I would also probably add my trainer, Alex, to that list.
Aw.
He is so wonderful. I mentioned island travel, and you mentioned time in the sea. Are there some places in Greece this year that you're looking forward to visit?
Yes, and of course, they are all islands.
Yeah, yeah.
Kythera.
Oh, yeah.
I love so much the southern Peloponnese, the islands off the area. So yeah, the Kythera for sure. I would like to go somewhere around Santorini, Astypalia or Foliangros. I'm saying that right? Okay, yep. Respect the tonos.
Amorgos?
Oh, No. I have friends, though, funny enough, one that leads a retreat quite often there and another one that's coming in a few weeks. It's going to go to retreat there. I don't know. The island just doesn't, wonderful things. It just doesn't speak to me.
I'm
It's somewhere I need to go right now. I think it's a little rocky. It's a little hard to get to is why. I would like to go, I think, somewhere in the Dodecanese area. What's the one you mentioned to me that was really like culturally, the women had the really unique fabrics?
Carpathos.
Carpitos. Yeah, kind of off the beaten path places is what I kind of like.
You guys would love Carpathos because they lead like hiking trails over the mountains.
Ooh, nice.
The food is unique. The dress is unique. They have these places and these villages that have retained that culture. The beaches, I mean, I think that should be very top of the list.
Yeah.
And they have an airport, easy to get to.
Oh, I like this. Yeah. For me, it is like more the nature. Icaria, which I know has been on that list for a long time with like the blue zones people usually know it for. But yeah, for us, and I put us, me and Alex in the same category, it has to have an incredible beach. Rocky beaches, okay, if there's just one or two, but like the sandy, really nice, clear water beaches, that's our jam. A lot of nature, more like local, slow, laid back life. Like you're not going to find me on Santorini and Mykonos, not at this point, no. What about for you?
I would love to visit Halkidiki, one of the 3 peninsulas near Thessaloniki.
Thessaloniki has 3 peninsulas?
Mount Athos, and then Halkidiki takes 2 of them.
Quiten the list, okay.
So I would love to visit because it's supposed to have some incredible sand beaches.
I've seen photos. You had to report back to me. Let me know.
I'm going to Corfu, which I've been to before, and it's really beautiful, a totally different vibe than the Cycladic Islands close to Athens. I really also want to go to Zia. Kea in English.
I was just about to ask you because you saw the look on my face. I'm like, where's that?
Mm-hmm. Not too far from Athens. You can take a ferry from the Rafina side. I'd like to go there.
Yeah, and the Rafina side is one of the port towns closer by the airport. That's good for people to know.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some sort of nut or some sort of thing they harvest there that they're known for.
Acorns.
Acorns. Okay, yes, because Aegina is pistachios.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
I don't know why, but it's just on my list. We have family friends who have a house there and they talk about it, so I would like to go there. I also think we should go to Andros.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend Mary, her husband's family, has roots there, and it's also a very wild, hiking sort of place.
I've read about that. I heard that the government has really put some money behind really rejuvenated hiking trails there. I think it's not a summer destination. I think it's a spring or a fall because hiking, sadly, you saw tourists really getting themselves into a trouble. Some even passed away from getting dehydrated on trails. So I don't think that definitely is something we should not do if we're in the summertime. The peak of summer is hiking.
Well, I'm not a threat to hike at any part of the year. But I agree with you. It's a very dangerous
Lethia,
thing.
my friend, Lethia. True. Have you had any interesting experiences in Greek, things that you've tried?
Are you asking about my dating? No, I'm just kidding. Very interesting. We'll save that for a different episode.
Ooh, I like that. That'd be fun. I think our listeners would really appreciate this.
We did have one experience that stands out in my mind together. The first time I drove onto a ferry.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about badges, talking about these little moments of massive success. I was so nervous. Had to sort of hype me up in the car.
Oh, yeah, but you had it. I was your hype girl all the way. I even had video of you.
I was just going to say, you took this incredible video. That was a great memory for me. And again, similar to moving abroad and building this life that you love, every little bit of success adds to the foundation of understanding that you can do hard things.
Mm-hmm.
And the next time, whatever it is, will be maybe a little bit easier because you've done it in the past.
Yeah. And I think just like learning the Greek language, doing new things, the Greeks are really supportive. Remember the guy that was helping you? He's like, come on. He's like, Dexia, to the right. And he's like, turn around. He was looking at you. And then he remembered us on our return trip. And he was like, bravo. And he was just so encouraging and so proud of you.
Such a moment of success.
I know. And I feel that too from a normal, Greek taxi driver or somebody in a cafe. And they're like, oh, Greek American, yeah? I was like, no, ohi pandrimeni me no Americanos. No, I'm married to a Greek American. And they're like, oh, bravo, Sue, you're learning Greek. Okay, So there's this extra pride that I feel gives me that extra boost in my soul. I love it.
Has there been anything an interesting experience that you've had?
I think anytime trying something that I would do at home, but doing it in a Greek setting. So, for example, yoga, I miss that so much, doing yoga in community. And I found a yoga teacher in my neighborhood. I mean, come to find out, we've studied with the same teacher. She's had spent time in LA. So we just had a lot in common. But, her weekly classes she teaches is like local to our neighborhood. So it's all done in Greek. And I've taken yoga enough. And again, I know enough Greek that I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of understand my left from my right. Okay, certain body parts. But yeah, I've been doing Greek. I've been doing yoga now in Greek for like 4 months, I think. It's been amazing. And what's beautiful, it's like a lot of women from my neighborhood that, it's just so beautiful. It's just to see all different phases of life. And it's so sweet. We have our little greetings. We'll have small talk in Greek afterwards. And then, of course, they like turn to me sometimes and go, bye-bye. And so, they're using their English. And it's just so heartfelt to have those connections and to really, have an experience that's just something basic I would do in America. But then to do it in this different style, this different community, it's really special to me.
That reminds me of the ballet class we took.
Oh, yeah.
Like in March, where we were getting Greek, French, and then a little bit of English. It was fun, though. I had a great time.
Oh, yeah. So great. So in the spirit, if you all remember, one of my words for the year was flow. And so that is bringing some dance and movement. And so, yeah, Calliope just planted a little seed and said, oh, I would like to take ballet again. I'm like, oh, I know the exact place we can go.
It was great. Easy for me to get to, which is sort of 80% of the battle in trying anything new.
Uh-huh.
I loved it. I'm going to continue to go, I think.
And they were just such a supportive group of women. They were just, I think, so inquisitive about who we were, but just so warm and welcoming. So it's definitely a place I'll continue to go as well.
I think that's the underlying thing that encourages you to sort of try to speak more Greek or to do new things.
Yes.
So Greeks, for the most part, are really warm and welcoming.
Yeah.
You do a little effort, you show them a little interest in whatever it is that they do, and they sort of open up to you in such a beautiful way. In the vein of trying new things, are there a few foods that you've come to really love? For me, one I know is fava, because I never ate it growing up. And fava it's like a spread, right? You eat it with bread or you eat it with a fork. And you would think it was made of fava beans, but it's not. It's made of split peas. For some reason, I adore it. I order it almost everywhere we go. And like I have my fava friends and like my termosalata friends. And I get to sort of change it up.
That is so great. It's true. They're both, they can be polarizing. I love fava. Terra musalata. Ugh. Like, it's just too fishy.
I love it so much.
Oh, I cannot.
I didn't like it growing up, but I love it now.
Oh, yeah. And then the foods that I love, kind of like adding on to that, is gigantes, like the big beans.
Giant beans.
Giant beans. Oh my God, they're so good. Especially in like the soup, not the soup, but the sauce. And it's usually with like peppers and carrots. That's great. Horta. It's greens. And there are different types of horta, seasonal boiled greens. I like it a little bit warm. Sometimes you get it served cold and I'm like, ugh. But yeah, those are some favorites.
Another lightning round. A this or a that. Moussaka or pasticcio?
Ooh, I like them both. Okay. Real true story. I mean, it depends on who I'm with. So for example, Alex does not like eggplant. So if I was with you and out with friends, I'm like, moussaka all the way, because it's the only time I probably would order it. But I think my palate really does say, pasticcio.
Pasticcio calls to me in a very real way. Okay. Mastija or tsiporo?
Mastija.
Really?
And only because it's been a acquired taste over time, because they give it to me every time I finish a meal here.
That's true.
It's
That's
very tree
true.
sappy, but I like it. It's more sweet.
It is tree sap, actually.
I know.
For those folks who don't know, mastica is like an aperitif, like an after dinner drink made from mastic, which is a tree that grows only in Chios. It's made from the resin of the tree.
And that's where some of your
yaya is from.
Your yaya. Love it.
Which I wouldn't pick mastica. I'd pick tsiporo. Again, tsiporo is like grown on me because I don't really like any of the other Greek liquors. Raki or ouzo, not a fan. But you bring me a little tsiporo after a meal, okay, Okay.
It really warms you up, especially in the wintertime.
Warmed you up in many ways. Sorry, different episode. Rooftop view or seaside view?
I mean, don't make me choose. Okay, I have to choose seaside because I know I can just get up and my feet in the sand and walk into the water. Yeah.
I don't know what I would pick because there is something so amazing sitting in the center of Athens on a rooftop, staring at the Parthenon with a sunset behind. I mean, that's sort of magical.
It is.
I'll go with rooftop.
Okay. All right, last one. Thinking about different beaches in Attica, Anavisos or Cape Beach?
For me, Anavisos, 1,000,000,000,000,000,000,000%.
Is it because they're beach beds?
It's because they're beach beds and umbrellas and it's a sandy beach.
Love it. Contrary to what I've said before, I choose Cape. And the reason being is it's a secluded little beach. You have to go down these stairs. To look at the landscape, the different colors of the water, the depth, it feels like secluded. Like, I will definitely hike down that little path, carry all my things. I mean, Alex will help carry most of our things, but yeah, that's my place.
See, I don't really like to work that hard for a beach day. I want sand. I would like a drink in my hand. I'd like to stand in the sand in the water, have a conversation, get a little tan. And then take a nap on a sunbed. But I do understand that a rocky beach with a water that's clear and an experience with friends, making it a day, I get that too. I think that's also lovely. But just for me alone, definitely sandy beach.
Nice. Well, as we start to round out this episode, I've been thinking a lot about the first time coming to Greece. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. It's so magical in so many ways. But how now living here, I couldn't have imagined picking a better place to live because of the impact it's had. We talked about the quality of life. For all of those frustrating things, for all of it's I don't understand how this works. I just fall deeper in love with this country every time. And so I feel really proud that not only I feel a sense of acceptance and have found community, and there's so many beautiful things. And that just rounds out all the frustrating things. How about for you, if you were to sum it up?
I think for me, living in Greece is an authentic experience to who I am. I often think if I could have conversations with my grandparents about this and this decision and this life, what would they say? Would they think I'm crazy? Would they think how proud they are of me? Because I do think this is very authentic to the life I want and what I want to be and how I want to live. Just because living in Greece feels authentic doesn't mean that it isn't without challenges, but it feels so right for me to be here. And I'm so excited for the future.
Thank you to each and every one of you who is supporting us through this podcast adventure. As always, a big thank you to Alex at Distance 4 Audio for his technical and sound expertise.
Our hope for you this week is that you're able to experience the magic of Greece as a traveler, not only a tourist.
If you love what we're serving up, be sure to subscribe and rate us on your favorite streaming platform. We're everywhere. Also, head over to Instagram and give us a follow at Biscuits and Sunshine, all spelled out. And we'd be so honored if you share this podcast with a friend. Maybe a friend that's planning to come to Greece soon. Who knows?
This is Biscuits and Sunshine with Callie and Landra.